15 points at 18,506. Against the dollar, the pound is trading at $1.34, and against the euro, it's at €1.20, which makes the euro worth 84 pence.
We've got a bit of an insight into what the next couple of years under the Scottish Government will look like. The Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon's been outlining her priorities for the next 5 years in government. It's the legislative programme for the SNP minority government, which includes measures on education, healthcare and new welfare powers. Underlying it all, of course, the issues of Brexit and Scottish independence. Lindsay McIntosh is Scottish political editor of The Times. She explained what Nicola Sturgeon had to say today.
What she intended her main points to be were about stimulating the economy and giving support to business. And she has brought forward a number of flagship policies in there, such as quite an innovative £500 million government guarantee for loans to businesses who are having trouble borrowing, perhaps in the wake of Brexit. However, what she also announced was a plan to bring forward a referendum bill within the space of 1 year and to consult on that with the public. Now, as soon as you say independence referendum bill in Scotland, all bets are off, and that's the focus.
And what about the public mood in terms of that question of another independence referendum? Does she feel she's got the public support?
Well, she doesn't at the moment. YouGov polled for The Times last week, both on the question of whether the public wanted another independence referendum and also how they would vote were there to be such a referendum. Now, Scots don't want another vote, and if there were to be one at the moment, they would still vote in favour of the Union by almost the same margin as September the 18th, 2014. Support for the Union is now at 54% compared to 46% for independence.
And she talked about education and business and healthcare. Looking at business particularly, did she have any concerns about how Brexit may influence policy development over the next few years?
Yes, she did. What you need to know about Nicola Sturgeon is that she has not been seen traditionally as pro-business as her predecessor, Alex Salmond. So she has made a real effort since she has become First Minister to kind of change opinions of that. So a lot of her programme for government was about a big offer to business, and she was talking specifically about the difficulties in the post-Brexit vote economy that businesses might find in securing finance, particularly sort of start-up tech companies. And what she's said is that she wants to allow her government to be effectively the lender of last resort for small loans for those businesses who might not otherwise get backing from banks.
And finally, what has been the response from other politicians from the opposition?
The response has been very much, look, you want to talk about governing, you want to stimulate the economy, you say that you want to improve things for business, but actually all you want to do is hold a second independence referendum. And with this announcement of this bill, that's allowed those opposition parties to really seize on that issue.
Has she got some tricky times ahead, do you think, running a minority government?
She has got some tricky times ahead with the Constitution in terms of working out what's going on with Brexit and how that will play for independence. Although she is a minority government, she has a very strong number of MSPs. It's not the same level of minority that she had in 2007. So she really just needs a few abstentions to get her policies through. The really interesting thing will be where those abstentions come from. She doesn't presumably want them from the Tories, as she's set up her entire government to, she says, fight the Tories. It's going to be very difficult for Labour to abstain and find itself on the same side as the Scottish Government.
Lindsay McIntosh, 5